The alphabet. So you will notice right off the bat, this is the same alphabet that we are used to in the English language. There is no difference in the French alphabet and the English alphabet. However, you may notice small differences in the way that it is written. For instance, you may have seen somebody put a line through a Z, and the French people do this as well. A Z without the line is actually a 2. You will see me do this as well. So this is a 2, that is a Z. You will see this also with the number 7, and you may have seen this as well. Some people write it with a slash in the middle of it, and you will see that in the French numbers as well. So the Z is really the only thing that may be a little different for you. Now, when I teach the alphabet, I prefer to teach it using motions, and so I will be using American Sign Language when I say each letter, and you will be seeing it in English because that's just what you're used to, even though it's the same alphabet, and then you will be speaking it in French. So basically what you are going to be doing is using 3 languages: American Sign Language, and your brain's automatically going to want to say this in English, but you can't, and then you're going to be speaking it in French. So I know you're brilliant, you can do this. And yes, each country does have their own form of sign language, and obviously we're going to be using American Sign Language because that's the only one I know. So here we go. If you would, I would love it if you could use your hands, mimic what I'm doing, and then speak the French as well. So, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now it looks like a G, and in English it's a G, but in French it is pronounced J. H, E, and this makes sense. You're going, wait a minute, we already used the E. No, the E is English, and in French it's pronounced and that sounds like you're being punched in the stomach almost. You can think of it like okay, and this is an E. And you think about this, how many people do you know named Brandy? You don't. You know Brandy, and they spell it with an I. In the French, it's the same thing, so that is pronounced E. Now, let's go back. We remember this is pronounced J. This is pronounced G. So it's going to get a little confusing. I generally mess it up every time. But you have J and G. Okay? K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. R's are usually the hardest letter for Americans to learn in French because our R is hard. It's R, it's like a pirate, R. But in French, it's R, and it actually, you gurgle it almost. And so you always remember this if you like those kind of creepy movies, if you can go, that's pretty much an R for you. So you have R, S, T, U, like ooh, you are in trouble. V, W. Now this is a V, and in English, this is a double U, but it doesn't look like a W. It looks like a double V, and in French, that's what it is. Double meaning double, just double with a French accent. Double, V. So you have U, like ooh, you are in trouble. U, V, W, X, like X, I saw a spider. And you know, if you draw something and you want to show that it's dead, then you'll put a little X on it so you can think of a little dead spider. Not advocating the killing of spiders, but you know. X, Y, Y. It's almost two words. Y. And literally it means the Greek E. So Y and Z. As in Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. So, let's go through this one more time. A. B. C. D. E. F. J. Oh, I did the wrong sign language. J, but I got it right. H. I. J. K. L. M. N. O. Pay. Like pay me tomorrow. Pay. Q. R. Remember? R. S. T. V. W. X. Y. Z. It's helpful to go ahead and get familiar with the French alphabet, because you have to realize when you begin to start speaking French, you are going to use their pronunciation. So for instance, one of the words in this lesson is, and in English we would we're used to seeing a little E on the end of it, and we would say salute. Well, in French, ah and so this is salut. You say, well, where did the T go? In French, the only letters that you pronounce at the end of a word are C, R, F, and L. Or in French, C, R, F, L. And you can remember this because you always need to be very careful about which letters you pronounce at the end of the word. So, salut. Salut does not end in a C, or an R, or an F, or an L. So do you pronounce the last consonant? No. No. Now, if there had been an E on the end of this, would you? Yes, just like you would in English. English and French have a lot of similarities. And that is because French was actually the official language of England for almost 500 years. So you are going to see a lot of similarities and hear similarities. But the spelling will be a little bit different. And you may have experienced this. For instance, the word favorite in English is favorite or favorite in French. And I'll get to that E when you add it a little bit later. But anyway, so that is basically your French pronunciation. And you're saying, but wait a minute, I've also seen little symbols on the tops of words, and where do these come in at? Okay, well, you have several different accents in French. You have your accent aigu. aigu. And you can remember this accent and that it goes this way because when you write the word aigu, if you write it with a capital letter to begin with, you're going to write, that's going to be your first little mark when you go to write. So, aigu, aigu, accent aigu. Okay? Then you have one that goes down. Down to the ground or down to the grave. A little morbid, but it works. And this is actually called accent grave. Once again, in English, that's an A. So we would say grave. But in French, this is an ah. Ah. So you pronounce this grave. You will find these on tops of vowels. And the handout or the printout or the link or however we're going to do that, that will explain exactly which ones go over which. But you will see these, and they do change the pronunciation just a bit. I'm going to go over that in just a second too. Then you have accent tréma. Accent tréma. And you can think of it like, oops, sorry, tréma. And you can think about a little mouse ears, and a little mouse is all scared and he's going to be trembling. So you have tréma, and they look like little mouse ears. This is also like an umlaut in German. Same type of thing. Then you have, so you have aigu, grave, tréma. This one looks like a little house on top of a vowel. And this is called your accent circonflexe. Cir, once again, this is an E sound. Cir, con, flex. And you will notice it's not circonflexe, circon. The N in French is usually very like, you know, you hear people do that. That's a French N. So you have circon, circonflexe. And you're saying, but you pronounce that X, and that's not in careful. Welcome to French. It's a language. It's got lots of exceptions. Yay! And then the last one you have, by the way, all of these